Muskies are big, hard to catch, and fearless fighters. For those reasons, they are amongst Minnesota's most unique and perhaps misunderstood fish. In the next 10 minutes, you'll hear how groundbreaking DNR research helped restore Minnesota's world-class muskie populations. We'll show you where muskie populations have been successfully integrated with walleye, northern pike, and panfish. You'll also hear how this unique trophy opportunity benefits anglers. Finally, you'll see how the DNR and Muskies Inc. are pursuing ways to accommodate the increasing number of anglers who fish muskie in Minnesota. We're hoping that by learning about the muskie's history, habitat, and management, you'll gain a new appreciation for one of Minnesota's true trophy fish.
Thanks to successful stocking programs and a strong catch and release ethic among anglers, muskellunge are found in lakes and large reservoirs from southeast Manitoba all the way south to Missouri. We have 81 muskie lakes in Minnesota. Many have self-sustaining muskie populations. In a number of others, excellent muskie fisheries have been established through stocking. As more anglers discover the thrill of catching this unique trophy, some are looking for new lakes that might support muskie populations. Could more Minnesota lakes be stocked with muskie? The answer is yes, if anglers, local residents, and lakeshore property owners agree.
The muskie can be a controversial fish, and the DNR takes a thoughtful approach to introducing muskie in lakes where the fish has not yet been established. Our goal is balance. As muskie fishing becomes more popular, the DNR may work with local residents and anglers to improve the geographic distribution of muskie fishing opportunities. So far, Minnesota's overall muskie program has been very successful. In fact, Minnesota is considered one of the top muskie fishing destinations in the lower 48 states.
But it wasn't always this way. Minnesota's pioneers experienced a flurry of fabulous fishing, with catches of 300 pounds of muskie in a single day. Not surprisingly, that kind of fishing didn't last, and by the 1920s, muskie fishing was belly up in many parts of the state. Fishing contest records from Fuller's Tackle Shop of Park Rapids, for example, show the number of trophy-sized muskies declined during 1930 to 1959. They did not increase significantly during 1960 through 1987. Muskie lakes were over-harvested. The DNR had tried to remedy the situation by catching spawning muskies to start a stocking program. But finding concentrations of spawning muskies proved too difficult. The fish of 1,000 casts was as elusive to fisheries managers with nets as it was to anglers with rod and reel.
The conventional netting efforts on Leech Lake to obtain eggs from that strain of fish had been unsuccessful. In 1978, I proposed that we install transmitters in adult fish and let them show us where they spawned. We angled with rod and reel to catch the adult fish for the study, and we were successful in doing that and implanted transmitters in 15 adult muskellunge. Two priorities were to identify principal spawning areas on Leech Lake so that we could provide adequate protection to those areas, and then secondarily or additionally it would enable us to obtain eggs from that source. The first thing we learned, it became very obvious why conventional netting operations were unsuccessful. The Leech Lake muskies were spawning in distinct areas, but they were noticeably offshore areas, separated from shoreline wetlands that would be traditional pike spawning areas. In some cases, the muskellunge spawning areas were as much as a half a mile offshore.
The DNR took its first Leech Lake muskie eggs in 1981. Soon after, research proved the Leech Lake strain of muskie not only had the largest growth potential, but it also had the desirable trait of successfully coexisting with northern pike. The debate was over. The DNR had successfully determined the preferred strain of muskie to stock in Minnesota muskie waters. An ideal lake for muskie stocking has a low northern pike population, suitable forage such as tullibee, lake whitefish, or suckers, no chance of winter kill, suitable spawning areas, and a size exceeding about 500 acres. Muskie are stocked in late fall as 10 to 13-inch fingerlings. If natural spawning areas are limited, stocking will continue on a regular schedule. Ideally, however, the population will become self-sustaining. As a rule, the introduction of muskies has little effect on other game fish species. Lake Alexander, a popular 2,763-acre lake in Morrison County, is a prime example of a successful muskie introduction. Muskies were introduced here in 1988 and have become increasingly popular with anglers. Walleye, bass, crappie, and northern pike remain as prevalent as ever.
The effects of stocking muskie in Lake Alexander have not been very pronounced, other than for the production of a very good muskie fishery. And we were very concerned at first about whether this muskie fishery would have impacts on other species. All of the surveys that we've done on here have not, and there's been a lot, have not indicated that we've had a problem with species like walleye and black crappie. Right now, about 25% of the angling that occurs after the opening of muskie season is for muskie.
Many of Minnesota's best fishing lakes for walleye, bass, and crappie, such as Winnipegashish, Mille Lacs, Lake of the Woods, and Minnetonka, have thriving muskie populations. But misunderstandings about muskellunge persist. Probably the biggest is that muskies harm other game fish populations.
That is a misconception. In the real world, beneath the waves, there's a war going on out there. Lots of different predator fish eat other fishes. Northerns eat muskies, muskies eat northerns, walleyes eat a variety of species, including their own kind. But it's basically a misconception. Muskellunge have definite preferences, and while they are capable of eating other game fish species, and occasionally no doubt do, they have very strong preferences for soft-rayed fish that attain large size. In this area of the state, preferred forage is cisco, commonly called tullibee, also whitefish, a white sucker, soft-rayed fishes, high protein, that attain large size.
And while it's true that muskies do prey on larger fish, they are no more likely than northern pike to attack non-fish species, ducklings, small pets, or swimmers. In addition to scientific research, the continued success of muskies in Minnesota depends on support from angling groups like Muskies, Inc.
Serious muskie anglers are doing far more for their sport than the law requires. They voluntarily release nearly all their fish, even those that are larger than the minimum size limit. That way, other anglers can also enjoy the thrill of a trophy. Because of their dedication to improving their sport, muskie anglers have gained a well-deserved reputation for high ethical standards and a commitment to natural resources. At Muskies, Inc., we're looking at ways to get local chapters even more involved, like cleaning public accesses and sponsoring kids' fishing days. And we continue to work closely with the DNR to improve the resource.
Muskies Incorporated's support of catch and release and a science-based approach to muskie management have been key factors in growing our state's muskie program. Today we have more muskies than ever in Minnesota. We're looking forward to a continuing productive relationship with Muskies, Inc. and other angling groups to provide great fishing for all Minnesotans, including a chance for one of our state's trophies.
It took decades to grow Minnesota's muskie program into one of the very best in the nation. Today, this fearless fighting fish, known for its aversion to anglers' lures, is attracting a growing legion of anglers. No matter how well we treat the muskellunge, it's destined to remain uncommon and hard to catch. Its particular habitat requirements and slow growth guarantee that its rarity and mystique will linger. But with proper management, the occasional trophy will continue to thrill dedicated muskie anglers for generations to